Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tonight Show podcast for today, the 26th of February, live on YouTube. I'm your presenter, Charlie Thomas, and joining me tonight is Labour Party supporter Zach Chambers for all latest news. Hello, Zach.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, Zach. Yes, a bit of a technical difficulty on Zach's end tonight. Getting on there. Hello, Zach.
That's better, hopefully.
Hello. Yeah, we're on.
Hi,
we're on, guys.
Hi.
We're on, guys. Yes, it's not quite.
Okay.
Luckily, it's not GB News' opening night, so we can all agree that night was pretty chaotic with the microphones and stuff. Don't worry, guys. We're not GB News. We've got a podcast instead. Anyway, we've got lots of news to talk about. A by-election. We've got news about about Andrew as well. We've got news on just a lot of general things tonight. Now, the first bit of news I want to get onto tonight is going to be I want to start with the sport tonight. I'm going to kick things off now with the news of the football results that came in over the last week, which included some results from the UK football as well. So Premier League results. I'm going to get them all up for you now. Last week we saw Villa and Leeds 1-1 draw. Brentford-Brighton 2-0 to Brighton. Chelsea-Burnley. Chelsea drew with Burnley despite a red card. West Ham-Bournemouth was a stalemate. Man City-Newcastle was 2-1 to City. Forest lost against Liverpool 1-0. But also playing, I think, in the UEFA Europa League as well tonight, Forest are. Manchester City beat Newcastle 2-1. Palace beat Wolves 1-0. Wolves were down to 10 men with a red card. Fulham 3-1 winners against Sunderland. Arsenal, another 4-1 win over Tottenham. I think it was their second 4-1 win in the reverse fixture earlier in the year, but also in the previous one. And a hat-trick for Eze, and Manchester United continue an unbeaten run under Michael Carrick with a 1-0 victory at Everton. And in this weekend's games, we'll picture below. Pick of the matches for me. Obviously, tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, we've got Wolves Villa. Bournemouth Sunderland. Liverpool West Ham will be a big one at 3 o'clock on the Saturday. We also have a 5:30 kickoff, which will see Leeds take on Manchester City. Brighton will face Forest. Fulham Tottenham. Manchester United Crystal Palace. All 2 o'clock fixtures. And then Arsenal Chelsea. Arsenal for the second week running get the late kickoff on the Sunday, or should I say 4:30 on the Sunday, 1st of March. Certainly a big one indeed. Zach, what's your assessment from the week's previous football results?
Yeah, quite a lot actually to talk about. There's been a lot of football going on as well. You mentioned some of the results there as well. Very lucky result for the teams that need the result. So Arsenal winning, Manchester City winning, Liverpool winning as well. Liverpool nearly drew against Nottingham Forest, but Liverpool got their result at the very end. Very crucial result as it was as well, and had implications on the bottom of the table. West Ham drawing. Very, very significant result there as well. Gap is now 2 points between Nottingham Forest and West Ham, between 17th and 18th. That's how close it is. And and Tottenham having another loss again, which means that there is still about a 4 or 4 point gap between relegation and 16th place as well. Chelsea was held by Burnley. That was not a good result for Chelsea. They were 1-0 up towards the very end again, and they blew it as well. Brentford actually lost the game for a while. Brighton have actually won 2-0. Kicked some butts into gear as well. Man United beating Everton, not surprised there. Fulham beating Sunderland 3-1 was a big surprise there in my mind. Sunderland are starting to slip away a little bit from their form now, which would be a bit of a shame if that does happen. But the results are not exactly in their favour at the moment. And Crystal Palace just squeezing past Wolves 1-0 as well on that one as well. Coming up as this week, as you mentioned, there's quite a few games. You got Obviously, Chelsea v Arsenal this weekend. That's the main game at 4:30. A very significant game in the top four, actually, as well. Leeds, Manchester City. That's another significant one. We are in match day, I think 28, coming up of 28 or 38. And as well as this weekend, I should mention as well, there we have the final full midweek program of the season, as well, to kickstart March off as well, midweek March. So let me just tell you what's going on on the midweek games in March, because we have a full set of fixtures next week, midweek as well. So there's four games on Tuesday. Highlight being Wolves v Liverpool of that one as well. It'll be a top four battle versus relegation battle, really, in that one. On Wednesday, you got a significant number of games to keep an eye out on for. Newcastle, Man United at 8:15. Aston Villa v Chelsea have a top four match at 7:30. Man City Forest 7:30 as well. Brighton v Arsenal, I think it's going to be a significant one, 7:30 as well. In that one, obviously Brighton not on best form, but that could always cause an upset in that. And then Thursday is a bit of interesting one. Tottenham v Crystal Palace. It's a London derby, but it's the one that Tottenham is going to have to win, surely, if they want to get something going, to avoid at least the painful thought of being near the relegation zone as well. So that's all coming up there as well. Next week, there's been Champions League action this week. And currently on the moment, Europa and Conference League action. We'll come on to that in a moment. Let's go through some of the results. The teams that have gone through are Atletico Madrid with Newcastle, Bayer Leverkusen, Bodo Glimt taken out Inter Milan. That's a big surprise there. Atalanta took out Dortmund. Is in a surprising one there as well. Juventus taken out. He won against Galatasaray, but still went out on aggregate. That's a big shock there. PSG just scraping through Monaco 2-2 and 5-4 in aggregate. And Real Madrid were through against Benfica as well, 2-1. A bit more of a comfortable victory there for them compared to last time out. Although they were comfortable, they just the scoreline not always reflective of it. And currently at the moment in the conference and the Europa League and Conference League, where we got Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace playing. Let me just give you an eye on the scorelines. Celtic won against Stuttgart, but are down 4-2 in aggregate. So they're out of the competition. And an interesting development is that Nottingham Forest, who were 3-0 ahead on aggregate, are currently 2-0 down against Fenerbahce at home. So it's 3-2 in aggregate there. Keep an eye on the scoreline. They're only in the 56th minute. And there's always a possibility that Fenerbahce could score another one, and it will go to extra time there as well. And also in the game watching at the moment, which I'm actually watching tonight, which is Crystal Palace against I can't even pronounce it. Let me not even pronounce that name. Just don't even get me to pronounce that. It's a 1-0. Palace are up 1-0 at the moment, and they're playing the better team. So they're 2-0 up at aggregate. And yeah, they're 61 minutes into the game there at the moment. So at this stage, if the scorelines were to stay the same across all the leagues, then Forest would be through to the last 16. Even with the last, Palace would be through to the last 16 as well. Celtic are out of the competition, but obviously Palace and Forest this rate will be joining Aston Villa and Newcastle. Aston Villa, who are in the second and third tiers, the Europa League and Conference League as well, through to be playing on Thursdays in the future. We already have all 6 teams in the Premier League going to be playing in the last 16 as it is, and we're going to find out their fates tomorrow where the draw will be made for the Champions League draw as well, and there'll be the draws for the Europa and Conference League last 16 also made tomorrow as well.
Well, that's all the football news, and of course some big results in the Champions League. Newcastle thrashing Karabag, a big result there as well. Obviously, all of the last 16 draws are crucial in the Champions League for further progressment in the competition. So that's the news from the footy done with this week. Now, I want to come on to the F1 now. Now, obviously, there's no F1 this weekend. However, though, next week, we're back on Sunday for the new era of Formula One in Australia. And I've seen the start. Obviously, Drive to Survive comes out tomorrow on Netflix. I'm going to be literally watching I'm going to be trying to watch as many episodes as I can tomorrow. I know a lot of people probably binge watch most of the series. I've seen the episode list as well, by the way, on Instagram. There's loads of episodes, which I'm going to be very interested to see the one with Christian Horner in when he got fired from Red Bull. That'd be interesting. But anyway, we have the Australian Grand Prix next weekend taking place at Albert Park. We have actually had a photograph of the track map for the new zones, which are going to be featured with overtake mode and also straight line mode as well. The most complicated set of rules I've got my head around as well. But let's have a look at what we're on about. So obviously the schedule is Australia, the first race of the season. I'm afraid, guys, if you are going to have to be up early birds for this one, because the race start is at 4 a.m. in the morning. I mean, how are people going to get up for 4 a.m.? I have absolutely no idea. It is possible, but you need to stay up most of the night. If you don't have Sky Sports, I'll watch the highlights, luckily. But the Formula One will begin at 4 a.m. on Sunday morning. FP1 will be 1:30 on Friday, followed by qualifying 5 till 6. Obviously, you know, there is an updated format now, obviously, with there being 22 drivers. I think it's just an extra driver. A couple of drivers get eliminated in that session as well. That's the schedules for the weekends for next week. In terms of other news that I'm going to be bringing you as well, Mario Isola has left his role as the head of motorsport at the tyre supplier Pirelli. The Italian has announced that he stood down. Mario Marafushi, if I pronounce his name correctly, will be replacing Mario Isola as well. In his new position, Marafushi will report to Giovanni Trancotti Pareva, Executive Vice President of Sustainability, New Mobility, and as well. So obviously, this is a big change up the top for tyre supplier Pirelli. Damon Idris will be a global ambassador. Damon Hill's also a Williams ambassador as well. Next week's going to be very interesting with the new first race of the season. I have questions on Aston Martin, though, with their horrendous pre-season test in Bahrain, where they had a car that kept breaking down a lot of the time, didn't have hardly any running. There's even been questions whether they'll make it to Australia. I'm sure I hope they do. But knowing McLaren's trouble 2015, 2016 Honda years, Fernando Alonso did not look very happy. He looked very dejected, actually, during testing. Did a lot, Fernando Alonso. I would say to Alonso, if you have a very bad start to the season, consider the Indy 500 if you want to get the Triple Crown, my friend, because, you know, only Graham Hill's the only ever driver that's won it. And I'm sure, remember when he done it years ago? I know his engine blew up, sadly, when he last done it, and then the other time he crashed. It's tricky when you go to Indianapolis and try and get the 500 against seasoned veterans. But anyway, Formula One is back next week, as I will show you guys here. This is the Formula One. I'll just share my screen. I don't think I uploaded it on there. But this is the Formula One action. 4 a.m. Zach, an early start for next weekend's race.
Yeah, 4 a.m. for the race, 5 a.m. for qualifying on Saturday. It's going to be a very early bird as well. I'll get onto a bit more of an in-depth look of the race next week, coming up to it as well, when we do this next week. But there's obviously been bits of news that we've seen off the track. It's there's obviously all the speculation about who's been, who's fastest and who, and all that sort of thing as well. yeah, the campaign has really kicked off. Can you believe that was just a week away from the actual season starting about it as well? That is something to behold as well. Yeah, so anyway, we'll go a bit more into depth of what I think will happen next week. But looking at the circuit as well, the new sort of yeah, there's you can see we're gonna have to get used to this. Obviously, not DRS now. There's overtake activation is there, and as you can see on there, there are 5 straight mode zones, which is effectively where you can get you can, if you remain within 1 second, you can have your get a little bit of boost to your car and all that sort of thing as well. There are 5 straight line modes, so it's just before turns 1 and 2, after turns 2, but just after turn 5, after turn 6, before before turn 9, just before after turns 10, before turns 11. Yeah, there are the 5 straight line sort of modes we're looking at. As well, so that's where we're going to be using. We're going to see straight mode being used and everything like that, and you will obviously see the overtake mode as well. Wherever you win a second, you can use that additional power as well. And the detection point is at turn 4, just before turn 14 as well. You're going to hear a lot of these new phrases out of the season. As well, will we see the fastest lap time record being beaten? I'm not sure. That might remain for a little while, to be fair, whilst we're figuring out the cars and how fast they can go. But yes, that's next week. There's Drive to Survive that's out on Netflix tomorrow. 8 episodes instead of 10 this time. It looks like there's going to be a number of focus on McLaren, a few of the new kids on the block as well. There's the Christian Horner saga as well, which we're going to see as well. The McLaren team battle, what we're going to see about that as well. We're going to see a lot behind the scenes of the last year's F1 season, all documented in Drive to Survive as well. Tomorrow, so if you want to binge all 8 episodes, it's on Netflix as well. You can watch it tomorrow as well. I still have yet to cut half the last season's stuff yet, if you believe it or not. I feel old at this rate, but that's all happening tomorrow as well. And if just we'll go in a bit more detail about where I think the pecking order is as well next week, and how to looking for getting ready for next for the start of the round 1.
I have to say, Zach, looking at the track map, there is a few potential areas where LTC will be used. That's being lift to coast. Looking at the track map, this circuit has a lot of short straights. And I mean, people might say that in a way will be good for batteries. But look, I can't see 8th gear. 8th gear being achieved here is, well, going to be difficult. I mean, they probably could run 8th gear, but it's looking difficult. This is going to be interesting. My main drive with this is here between 5 and 6. Look how short that is for a straight mode activation. They're going to have to lift off about more now before a corner to recharge the battery. And when you look at these short straights, I mean, it's going to be very different to, like, say, Bahrain, where you had the long pit straight, and obviously the middle part of the lap where you had some long straights. But I mean, Zach, do you think the first circuit of the calendar will be a battery-friendly circuit? But looking at the middle sector, though, it is quite fast and particularly flat out.
Yeah, I don't think that this is going to be a battery-friendly circuit for if you're in the middle sector. I just don't think that will be the case. There will be some opportunities in Sector 1 and Sector 3 to be have a recharge the battery. But Sector 2 I think is going to be critical because you're going to be managing the battery a lot more. There are not a lot of slow corners at all. You're going to be on the throttle a lot of the time. There's going to be some lifting off before the corners, no doubt about it. But you're going to be in acceleration for most of the Sector 2. And there'll be little opportunity to try and recharge that battery. So this is where people like Red Bull might come into play because of their rumored battery reliability and how they've been good at managing the energy of the car. So they might be. This is where it might favour them a little bit, but also as well, I can see those who are sort of less managing it but still getting used to it being better in the first and third sector. With all the corners in as well and some of the stuff. So that's where you can get there's opportunities to recharge and get everything as well. But there's going to be so much tactical stuff going on with it, with the car and everything as well. I mean, yeah, it will be fascinating to see how it goes because Melbourne is different. And when we get to China, that I think there'll be a lot more reliance. I think on. I think what I'm saying is for China is that it'll be easy to manage the battery there, even with some of the long straights as well, because there are a lot more slower speed corners. It's more of a medium sort of more technical circuit, I have to say, looking at it. So I think each circuit is going to be different, and this is going to be one of them. As well, I feel, to really, really try and manage your battery.
I mean, this is a lot different from the 2022 revamp of the Australian Albert Park circuit where there was a chicane there. Now, it's just a straight. So, with China, the middle sector's all corners. So you can recharge the battery a lot more effectively. That's going to be a big problem for the drivers. If you're out of battery, the engine's basically equivalent to an F2 car, really. The power output isn't a lot compared to, say, the electric motors now got almost double, triple the output. That part, you'll be losing a lot of speed. You've got, obviously, the overtake and the boost mode available as well. I suppose that will add extra speed. But maximum deployment is going to be key, particularly in areas, I think, the end of the first sector. Crucially as well, the end of, say, maybe this straight here, where there used to be a DRS zone. That's going to be crucial as well. But it's a tricky one for me to... I mean, these cars are going to be... It's going to be weird how they start as well on next Sunday, how the race start's going to go. Because we've seen drivers have problems getting off the line and testing, trying to charge that battery up, now given there's no MGU-H. So very interesting to see how that's going to work. But obviously, the Australian Grand Prix is on next Sunday at 4 a.m. UK time. So an early slog for UK fans alike. Now, moving on now to the NASCAR news now, which took their second race of the main season at Atlanta. And I tell you what, wow. It was the Auto Trader 400. It was the Echo Park Speedway. And Zach, Tyler Reddick has gone back-to-back.
Indeed, he's gone back-to-back with a great last lap to win the race. I thought it was a really good race, actually, at Atlanta. Or Echo Park Speedway, whatever you want to call it these days, because they all got different names. I only stop calling it Atlanta. It's Echo Park as well. But good race overall. I thought it got a bit messy at the ending, I have to say, with various incidents and a few big ones in it as well. But Tyler Reddick again managed to master the last lap and won the race, and actually become back-to-back as well. Really important victory for him as well. Chase Briscoe became behind. So did Ross Chastain and Carson Hodecar fourth. Daniel Suarez was fifth. Van Gibson is sixth. Good result for him, despite getting caught up in a few shenanigans himself. Zane Smith seventh. Bubba Wallace eighth. Ryan Preece ninth. And Ryan Blaney 10th. Really fun race overall. There was not a lot of cars that weren't damaged in any incidents throughout it, which was really, really fun. I mean, look at the DNS when you think about it.
25th down, or was it 38th?
Yeah, down to there. Only 25 cars finished, and then someone who did finish was basically damaged already an earlier wreck and was really behind DNF finishers. So yeah, that's how far behind that Riley Herbst has got involved in several incidents as well. God bless him. It was not a fun event for him at all, and a difficult race as well. But next up this weekend, we have all three series in action, but one of them is coming from a different circuit. So O'Reilly Auto Parts Series and the Cup Series are coming from the Circuit of Americas this weekend for the first road call race of the season. The Cup race will be at 8:30 UK time on Sunday, and the O'Reilly Parts Series will be on Saturday. But earlier in the day, on Saturday as well, the Craftsman Truck Series in action, not at Circuit of the Americas, but they're at St. Petersburg, where the IndyCar races, it's also the first race of the IndyCar season, is also being held as well. But the trucks are going at St. Petersburg for the very first time as sort of a truck series and IndyCar doubleheader. It's not the first time we've had a NASCAR doubleheader. I mean, we've had Indy Road Course and the Cup Series as well race on the same weekend. So not the first time it's happened, but anyway, it's a nice lead in to kick off the NASCAR, the NTT IndyCar season as well. So that's at Saturday at midday UK time as well, if you want to see that happen there. But good. It'll be fascinating. I mean, it's a good choice of road course to be doing it there as well. And there will be some tricky elements for the truck to get through. But anyway, a really good road course choice as well to be doing it. Obviously at the expense of Circuit of the Americas. But all three series are on road coursing this weekend as well. And that's something I'm excited to watch.
I can't wait for IndyCar this weekend. I've been wanting to finally get IndyCar back on. Pato O'Ward is certainly going to be one to watch this season, and so will Alex Palou. Definitely some big names in the NTT IndyCar series. But moving on now to the rest of the news. Let's go over some of the news. First of all, we're going to go for our villains of the week. My villain of the week this week is going to be, again, I have to give it to him. It's Prince Andrew. Apparently, according to this, Epstein says this is Charles doing on the day at Andrew's trade. But basically, Epstein blamed Charles on Andrew's day. Andrew lost in the UK trade envy job. It has to be the Prince again. I mean, it's this Lord Mandelston thing's now been really escalating now, from what I've been hearing. Andrew is in a lot of trouble. I really do. I think he's gonna. I'm pretty sure he's lost his world titles now, or his HR. But it's absolutely terrible what's happened to the royal family, and Andrew's committed a very vile act of crime, as well. And there's going to be asked for, and the Liberal Democrat MPs actually called for legislation to remove Andrew from the royal line of succession. That comes from Luke Taylor. I believe that was today. There's been some early parliamentary sessions today in the House of Commons over that. I'll get Zach's thoughts on that in a minute. There's also been a lot of action from, say, PMQs this week. Starmer and Badenoch obviously at war again. Starmer's still being grilled over the Mandelston saga and several other things, even while he's still in post as well. So that's another thing that's been developed on that one. And I just think Andrew's still going to get my. I think Andrew and Mandelston are still going to get my villains of the week for me. Zach, what's your villains of the week this week?
Right, there's a few. I'm going to start off by first one is what I'm going to be commonly nicknaming as, but you're going to hear it again. Pedo Protector Peter, aka Peter Mandelson, is number one. He got arrested this week because under the obviously Misconduct in Public Office Act. not the app, but the offence of misconduct in public office. He got arrested, then got released on bail as well, and then the Met Police managed to screw up their own investigation by deciding to sort of completely screw it up the investigation by informing the Speaker and the Lord Speaker on this information. Well, not informing that there were sources in the Virgin Islands somehow that Peter Manson was going to, or Peter protects Peter, that was going to escape to there. So the Met Police arrested them, and then they went on to tell which Lindsay Hoyle, the Speaker, then passed on to the Met, and they arrested them. But unfortunately, it was leaked out to the domain that for the case. The lawyers weren't too happy. The Speaker decided to tip the police, and the Met's got egg on its face as well. But anyway, Peter Manson, again, an example of someone you can't trust. Anyway, there is an investigation going on. He's denied all the allegations. I should point that out as well. The second one, I'm going to, on a more serious subject, I have to say, the second villain of the week for me. And again, this is sort of a week old, but it needs to be sort of mentioned. It's Gianluca Cristiani. Now, Gianluca Cristiani may think, oh, who's that guy? Never heard of him. Well, he's the Benfica player at the subject of the claims that he made racist comments at Vinicius Junior last week at the Champions League game. He's currently suspended at the moment, pending an investigation, but he gets my villain of the week anyway because they didn't give it to him last week. There is no room for racism at all in football, and I'm afraid because of his alleged comments, which again is still under investigation, we don't know what's happened. And we don't know where he's put a denial on the record, but he did say anything. Because of what's happened, I think this week, last week, there's been more records of racist incidents involving other Premier League players because it's been such a global headline, and some of us as well. There was racist incidents on Sunday, and I'm afraid he's a kickstarter of all of this. Just so much issues that this player's caused. For it to be spread along as well, and I'm afraid he gets the villain of the week for me as well.
Yeah, that's our heroes or our villains of the week. They're all done in a nutshell. Now it's time to move on and do some more news. Now, I just want to say quickly, the next bit of news is going to be, obviously, we've had the main news about. The next bit of news, Zach. I've actually managed to remember this. There is a by-election on up north in Gorton and Denton. Obviously, we've had candidates campaigning. Obviously, Reform UK out for Matt Goodwin and the Greens out. Obviously, I saw for their candidacy, Zach Polanski was campaigning up there as well the other day. Now, obviously, this by-election is crucial for whoever wins this area. Obviously, the seat where Andy Burnham was going to stand in before being blocked by the government. It is now going to be a really big seat, this one, because obviously it was Labour, and it's going to go obviously to a new party now, or should I say a different controlled party. I mean, Zach, this is a big seat, because this is going to be a seat that is going to attract quite a lot of local issues, I think.
Yeah, and it's close. It is close. From what we're hearing on the ground and beyond as well, it is close between the three parties. Labour, Reform, and Greens. It is close between the three parties. Those particular elements as well. And honestly, I can't call it at the moment because from what I'm reading. Now, I know Labour have done a lot of calls on the ground today from what I'm reading as well. The Greens, I've seen pushes them out with their candidates doing a little bit of a party mode. But it's close. And Reformers not said too much today, I have to say. But it is crucial seat, actually. It's crucial for the government. It's crucial to see, if not the government, who it would be. Is it the activities of the left? Is it the work of Reform UK on the right to pull this through? It's Gorton Denton is quite a constituency with a depth of demographics. On the one hand, you got a heavily Muslim area. I think it's in Gorton. I got Denton. I can't remember which part of Gorton Denton it is. On the other hand, you've got extremely sort of white area as well, and then you got area. So the dynamics are going to be quite clear as well. It's such a fascinating constituency what they have there as well. But the Muslim vote's going to be interesting because how that's holding up, whether that the Greens can claw something out there as well. But we looked at the polling this week actually, and it's too close to call, I think, at the moment between the three parties, and whoever gets it, it will say more about the response about it as well than who doesn't. If the Greens get it, that will worry Labour because of the high left-wing vote they're losing. If the Reform get it, is that going to be less of a painful one for Labour, but still significant victory there anyway? Or if Labour hold even, then they might really motivate a few of their team to keep going and stay the course as well. So it is close. Let's just say that. We don't know what the situation is at the moment. The poll will close in 13 minutes, and then we'll get an idea of who is happy, who is not, or what the tactics are, and what's going to be briefed out. But anyway, so much keep an eye out on as the polls close at 10 o'clock, and they'll be counting overnight as well. Chance of recount, maybe. Will it be a very early morning? Possibly. But anyway, it is a big election. No matter how you see it, it is a very significant election tonight. And who gets it? It will be, will shape the reactions of the party.
Yeah, it's a big by-election up in Gorton and Denton. It's going to be a big one. I don't know who's going to win it. There's going to be a lot of seats up for grabs in this one. So, yeah, very big by-election up there. Now, in terms of other news, Zach, I want to go across the pond now to the United States of America. Obviously, we've had the Winter Olympics as well. I'll come on to that as well in a minute. Obviously, I kind of have to say as well, there has been some news actually. Donald Trump joke has been overshadowed by the United States women's Olympic success as well. That comes as President Trump said that overshadowed the female Olympians by the ice hockey captain Hillary Knight. And that was because the United States won both men's and women's ice hockey team golds. The ice hockey captain actually called Trump's comments as distasteful as well. Also, the UK, Great Britain also got a bronze in the got a bronze in the free ski big air, and also the men's curling team also picked up a silver medal as well in the curling. So that was some of the action on the final day of the Olympic Winter Games as well in Milano Cortina as well. And there's definitely a lot as well. And I'll come on to obviously another thing in a minute, which is obviously the Russian invasion of Ukraine. So we're going to highlight that in a minute. But Zach, it's been a big week, obviously for Olympic Winter Games athletes as well, as the event draws to a close, ready for the Paralympics a week on Friday.
Yeah, I've been really good games, and I had to say our most successful Olympics in such a while, with the 3 gold medals and the other the bronze and the silver as well in it as well. It's been really successful from our end as well. Norway's one's been very successful, picking up the most medals as well. And the significant ones over the weekend was the men's and women's ice hockey. Both teams, American teams, winning that one. Congratulations to them. For the men, it's a long time coming because Canada's been the good ones in this one as well. I mean, they got a US and Canada rivalry. The US managed to snatch it out and bring down the eagle as well. It was the men's team was so good they got a State of Union invite. the women's one decided to snub a State of the Union's invite as well. There's a sort of interesting war of words on that one. But yeah, both teams deserve credit on that one as well. And of course, all the Olympians as well, including our Team GB athletes. Fantastic job overall. I mean, I can't be more pleased with them. We've done really, really well this Winter Olympics, and the momentum hopefully continues now as we go into the Paralympics, which are happening. The Winter Paralympics are happening the week next week on Friday. The opening ceremony is on that one as well, and then there's going to be about 9 days of action.
Yeah, correct.
Across the Winter Olympics as well. But yeah, really looking forward to that one. Obviously, a lot of categories, a lot of winter sports as well, and hopefully, we can make a stand in that as well, and show an example of how well we can do the Winter Olympics, how well we can do the Paralympics as well. That one's going to be on Channel 4 next week, starting with the opening ceremony on Friday.
Yes, I honestly, great event. Great Paralympics, obviously smaller than the Olympics. I think they compete in 6 different disciplines: para ice hockey, curling, para alpine skiing as well. Basically, for all those people who don't know the Paralympics is for those who've got disabilities, visual impairments, So you'll see a lot in the Paralympic Winter Games, like skiers running with like blinds. Blind skiers, like people that have lost, like, say, their vision. They'll go with like a guide. They'll travel behind the guide, and they will like direct them through the course. You've also got wheelchair curling for those who've got the disabled. You've also got as well loads of other events as well. I tell you what, there's some brilliant athletes. No matter what disabilities they've got some brilliant athletes in the Paralympic Games. There's some absolute standout athletes. I remember watching a Chinese swimmer in the Olympics with no hands, and the way he swam was just unbelievable. This was many years ago. I couldn't believe it. It was amazing. But the Paralympic Winter Games is back next week, and I'm sure you all will be looking forward to it. If any of you are watching on Channel 4, it'll be on the opening ceremony. Will be on next Friday from Milano Cortina in Italy. Coverage obviously throughout the week there as well. We're going to play for you now a musical interlude, and this week I have got one that I think you're really going to like. This song is going to be another kind of pop punky tune. I feel like we're getting into that vibe now, aren't we now? This one, I am going to go with one song that I think you are really going to like. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting to you a song by Simple Plan. This is Welcome to My Life. We'll see you in a few minutes' time.
Somehow you just don't belong, and no one understands you. Do you ever want to run away? Do you lock yourself in your room with the radio on turned up so loud that no one hears you screaming? No, you don't know what it's like when nothing feels alright. You don't know what it's like to be like me. To be hurt, to feel alive. Be left out in the dark, to be kicked when you're down, to feel like you've been pushed around, to be on the edge of breaking down, and no one's there to save you. Now you don't know what it's like. Welcome to my life. Do you want to be somebody else? Are you sick of feeling so left out? Are you desperate to find something more before your life is over? Are you stuck inside a world you hate? Are you sick of everyone around with the big fake smiles and stupid lies? While deep inside you're bleeding, no, you don't know what it's like when nothing feels alright. You don't know what it's like to be like me. To be hurt, to feel lost, to be left out in the dark,
Welcome to My Life there by Simple Plan live on the Tonight Show podcast. Just had a comment drop in there from at Barry Anowetsi. Sorry if I pronounced the name wrong. Hey, is this an open panel? Don't worry if not. Not sure on that response to that one there. Don't worry, this is
It's just us.
if you want to watch these, that's fine. Anyway, obviously if you guys have joined in across YouTube, this is the Tonight Show podcast with me, Charlie and Zach. We've just had Simple Plan play there with Welcome to My Life. Zach, an absolute classic, that one. You know, I've grown it. This genre certainly brings back some real good teenage hits, really.
Yeah, I've not heard Simple Plan for a while. I remember there was tunes from ages ago, wasn't it? And yeah, there was some really fun, they were really quirky band at the time as well. And yeah, Simple Plan. Getting back memories when I listen to them. And that's definitely one of them.
Yes, that's an iconic one, you know. Pierre Bouvier. He apparently toured with Avril Lavigne actually years ago as well. The whole band did, Simple Plan. That's a fun fact about Simple Plan. They used to tour with Avril Lavigne when she was breaking into the world of music at a young age years ago. Sorry, when I say open panel, I mean like call in. Sorry,
Nah.
we're not quite Talk Sport or LBC or Talk Radio where we phone up. If you've got a comment though, drop it down on the side and we'll be able to answer it. That's what this podcast is about. Now, Conversation Street tonight, a few things I want to cover on here. The first one is the 4 years of the day that Russia's President Vladimir Putin unleashed war on the European continent, including in Ukraine. And Zach, I have to say, looking back 4 years on from the other week, this war is still showing no signs of ending.
Yeah, it's never showed no sign of ending really, and it's still continuing. It's still lasting long, and there's no sign stopping. Putin there's no compromise on any of the sides. Putin is still destroying, killing, and murdering people under his grubby watch. And he's doing it in the most satisfactory factor you could ever think of, as well. He loves it. He loves watching the sight of Ukraine being destroyed, and he's continuing to do so as well. Destroying electricity plant power. It's cold weather as well. It's not very nice if you're living in Ukraine at the moment as well. And there's no compromise on that area as well. Ukrainian soldiers are still braving their resilience and just excellent effort overall to try and keep the land that they rightfully own, and it's being chalked by the Russians, who send out loads and loads of people to get murdered. And you know, all these days, you know, if you think about it, you are brought up, you know, you get conscripted into the army, and then all it is to go out into Ukraine and to lose your life again. I mean, imagine having to follow that sad little orders from Big Dobby up in Russia. It was still continually sad, but just the resilience of the Ukrainians as well, and people and those countries that want to support Ukraine. Well, fair enough, except for you know, Slovakia and Hungary. I mean, screw them. They're Putin's puppets at the end of the day. But there we go. It's 4 years on, would you believe it or not? It still goes on. It's still miseries, people's lives there. But I'm afraid they have to put up with it, but they live on. And it's to others, it's people that find it like a normal day for them. I mean, let's think about it. They're used to the sight of it. They don't want it to be, but they do feel like the sight. You know, just it's a normal day to them, sadly. And that's what it's like for them as well. So yeah. Oh well, but it is what it is for them. But they're brave. They're brave people as well. And they just try and live the best life as possible.
Right, that's the news on that one. Now it's time to talk about another thing. Now, I the other week I started up again a little chat on the fact files of musicians, and I'm going to talk to you this week about this group here. You might know them, Panic at the Disco. Now, The other week I played one of their songs.
Again,
I
then.
Write Sins, Not Tragedies. But the history of this band goes a long way back to the 2000s. You might know, obviously, they done a song in 2018 called High Hopes. And I literally, when that song came out, I literally heard it all over the radio. It was getting played. Every radio station was picking it up on the airplay. However, though, the band started out much earlier than that. Now, obviously, when they started out, they were quite a different band, actually. They kind of lent into more pop rock, pop punk area, emo. And they were formed in Las Vegas, Nevada in 2004 by high school friends Ryan Ross, Spencer Smith, and he also recruited Brandon Urie's classmate who plays vocals and guitar, and Brent Wilson. Following several lineup changes, Panic of the Disco operated as a solo project of frontman Urie from 2015 until its discontinuation in 2023. However, though, the band have recently come back last year, I think, to perform at selected shows. Obviously, Brandon has become a dad now, so we don't know what the main future will be held for Panic at the Disco, whether they will actually fully tour again. Now, in 2005, the debut studio album, A Fever You Can't Sweat Out, was released, and it was characterized by their iconic track, the second single, I Write Sins, Not Tragedies, which was certified diamond in the United States. The album was certified quadruple platinum 2006 as well. However, though, there was changes. Wilson got replaced from the band. The band's second album, Pretty Odd, was preceded by the sound 9 in the Afternoon. The album marked a significant departure from the band's debut sound. Ross and Walker, who favoured the band's new direction, departed because Urie and Smith wanted to make further changes to band style. Ross and Walker then formed the Young Vanes, leaving Urie and Smith as the remaining sole members of the band as well. Then it came on to also the other albums featuring Vices and Virtues as well. Too Weird to Live to Die, or Too Weird to Live Too Rare to Die in 2013. Death of a Bachelor in 2015, featuring several songs including Hallelujah, Emperor's New Clothes, Vicious as well. And then obviously 2018 came to Pray for the Wicked, an album I remember very well. As I said at the start here, I remember High Hopes very well when it came out back in 2018. One of the ones that featured just Brandon on vocals, taking the new direction of a pop rock influence as well. Featured songs such as If I'm Gonna Say Amen, Saturday Night, High Hopes, Hey Look Mama, I Made It Tonight. It was rated positive as well. And obviously the High Hopes actually became a very successful band. I think High Hopes actually became one of their best-selling songs, in fact. Reached number one, the highest charting single. It beat into the number 4 on the US Billboard Hot 100. It was their highest charting single since I Write Sins, Not Tragedies back in 2005. And obviously their last album was Viva Las Vengeance in 2022, which featured a mix of different styles of music as well. So, and they also did recently release a live Denver album as well. They have been back on tour. Also, the current 20th anniversary of Fever Can't Sweat Out was released as well. I mean, Zach, this band have been through several lineup changes over the years, tours, plenty of records, and gained quite a significant following over the years. And to be honest with you, despite key members leaving, Brandon Urie did manage to drag a solo project out for quite some time and really showcase why he still believed there was more to be created with this band.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've gone through their phases. They did Panic at the Disco with Brandon Urie in charge. But they've kept I feel like their pure image of Panic at the Disco as well. It just felt that they just felt their vision, their sound has felt quite interesting as well. And obviously Brandon sort of became the solo member beyond that as well. But they were a big old rock band initially as well. You sort of like the old pop punk that you sort of heard like in Simple Rush there as well. as well. But they did it. They just aged so much as well, and then they came up with some quite old bangers in the middle as well. They were very much teen hits as well that you get along as everything as well. But they went through the albums, and yeah, they're really, really good as well. They debuted in like 2005 and 2002 and everything like that as well. They left the band at the time, but they still went on well, really successful in many ways. So that's a good thing to see about it, and it was really fun to watch as well. And my thing is swirling. Is that? Oh, I'm here, so never mind. But yeah, it's been really good anyway. And there was a bit of they went through some lineup changes throughout, but and then it was obviously Brandon's own solo project as well. But he still managed to keep the core sound, really, I feel, overall. And yeah, you would notice that in listening to the songs as well. And Brandon doing it solo was was really, critical to see whether it would be good or not as well. But yeah, it was excellent overall. It was the stuff was really good, and they still put on a good sound as well overall.
I forgot to say as well, he was actually in a couple of other like collaborations as well. He's done quite a lot of collabs with other artists as well. Taylor Swift with the song "Me," which actually became quite a high chart-topping single actually, as well for Taylor Swift and for Brandon Urie from Panic at the Disco. We've also seen him collab with a couple of other artists. Even he was on The Greatest Showman. He was actually due to sing the Greatest Show for The Greatest Showman. Obviously, that got given to the cast of the film. But I do respect Brandon. His voice is amazing when he sings. Bloody hell! I mean, he can sing really, really well. Particularly on some of the high falsetto notes. But yes, Panic at the Disco, a crowd favourite of mine. I recently got back into their music, and like I said, High Hopes is a song that I remember when it first came out, how popular that song was. And even their one of their early singles, I Write Sins Not Tragedies, just showing you why the energy of this kind of music, I believe that this genre will make a comeback. I feel like Youngblood is, I mean, Zach as well, I have to say as well, I feel like Youngblood, a British artist, is kind of making headwaves at the moment by bringing this kind of genre back into the headwaves.
Yeah, exactly. It feels, quite. Youngblood is quite current at the moment as well. He's still developing as an artist, but he sounds really good as well. He was quite hardcore rock at first, and he built more quieter sound at points as well. But it sounds a bit more mainstream. He's added some hits out of it as well. Some longevity out it as well. I think as well. He's Youngblood's one of them, but obviously it's Panic Disco was a different sound genre, but it's still nevertheless as well. I think British rock is still in a good place as well, despite despite it may not be mainstream as much these days, but they still it still sounds really, really good and fresh.
I've seen Youngblood do a lot of collaborations with people, Avril Lavigne, even collaborations with some more recent singers. I mean, it's crazy that the guy is still quite a young guy, and to be fair, I give credit, to people like Youngblood. Zombie, as well, been one of his main singles at the moment. It just shows, he's even done a collab he even got Aerosmith back on track recently as well. They ain't sung for years. You got Aerosmith back together. Avril Lavigne with I'm a Mess. Luann with Tissues. Willow with Memories. I mean, MGK with Acting Like That. There is literally so many songs. Dan Reynolds with Original Me. Machine, and even one with Halsey as well. I mean, he'll collab with anyone and give it a little flavour. I mean, yeah, definitely some great collaborations. And like I said, that's really on that one. And I suppose if I'm going to do one more bonus thing tonight, really, I'm going to just say one thing quickly. Obviously, it's the new month tomorrow. It's a new month at the weekend. Obviously, we'll be back with doing the show business stuff next week. I have to say though, Zach, there has been quite obviously we've got the Brit Awards coming up on Saturday, but I want to talk about this showbiz thing that's been really interesting me over the weekend. Katie Price has now had her 4th marriage.
Yeah. Katie bloody Price. Again, another bit of pair of marriage. Let's see how long this one lasts before she ends up getting jailed, charged, whatever. And then have a collapse of marriage as well. But oh, Katie Price. A name that you want to hear, and then you just sigh and think, oh. Sometimes I feel sorry for her. Sometimes I just don't. Let's be honest. But yeah, yeah, I don't really have much to say about her, to be honest.
Oh, and actually, before we go, I forgot to mention this as well, Zach. We have the Premier League darts on as well. What's the current latest from that?
I can tell you this week's final is Van Veen, the Stephen Bunting out of all people. Yeah, Stephen Bunting made it to a final. Would you believe it or not? I mean, my guy's inconsistent, but hey he when he's consistent, he's a great darts player. And now Van Veen, I have to say, has lost the last 2-3 finals that he's been in. So you never know. Could it be a Bunting mental night? Who knows? Littler's struggling again. He lost his quarter-final again. I mean, it's bizarre for Littler. Is he sort of packing the Premier League in this season already? I don't know. Humphries has also lost as well. So it's not just him that's struggling. Josh Rock manages to get a 9-darter as well on his home soil, despite the fact he lost. I mean, it's a very special moment for him. Let's just be honest. I mean, he doesn't care about the loss. He cares that he got his 9-darter on home soil. Fair play. That is brilliant. And that's always going to be remembered for tonight as well. But anyway, Johnny Clayton went out against Stephen Bunting anyway. So Clayton's going to end the night on top. Or actually, maybe not. He could end up in second. First, Van Veen could end up in first position. You never know. But yeah, it looks like at the moment, great final ahead with Bunting and Van Veen.
Before I go, I thought I'd mention the darts. Anyway, thank you so much for watching the Tonight Show podcast with me and Zach this week. Take care, everyone, and have a great night. See you next time for another edition of the show. Take care. Good night.